What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's YouTube video. We got another whiteboard talk with Coach Jack, all about how to stop yo-yo dieting forever, break that cycle of losing weight just to gain it back. But before we dive in, if you guys are looking for a system out how to lose weight and keep it off, check out jackscookbook.com. What I've done is take my already amazing cookbook, over 120 low-calorie, high-protein recipes, and added 5 bonuses all about how to lose weight and keep it off. So you have a system, exact step-by-step how to lose the weight, how to track your calories, how to find out your own macros, how to boost your testosterone, everything in between. So check that out at jackscookbook.com. Without further ado, let's get into the video. In today's video, we are going over how to stop yo-yoing forever. I see it all too often with guys that come to me either as potential clients, family, friends, where they'll lose weight anywhere from maybe 15, 20, maybe even 30 plus pounds. They lose that weight, but they always gain it back, end up in the same place that they started. So this video is all about how to stop that yo-yoing cycle and make sure the weight you lose, you keep off for good. A big thing here, we're gonna have 6 different topics, is basically what the mistakes are and how to fix them. So the first one I see all too often is dieting too hard. People get extremely motivated maybe January 1st. They're like, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna cut this weight, I'm gonna get this 40, 50 pounds off forever. And they lose a bunch of weight, but it's too extreme, right? They think, okay, I need to be in a calorie deficit. I've heard that before. I know if I run, I'll lose weight. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're eating 1,200 calories, running 5 miles a day, and they're losing weight. But our goal is fat loss. No one wants to just lose weight, because if you lose weight, you're losing muscle, you're losing lean tissue. We want to focus on fat loss specifically. So what we need to have instead is moderation and sustainability. Not something that we're going to do a crash diet and a crash course to lose 20 pounds as fast as possible, but lose fat in a moderate deficit, aiming for, I would say, about 1% of your body weight per week. Nothing more than that, because you'll sacrifice potential energy as well as side effects with the low libido, low energy, low mood, things like that. So the biggest thing there is going from the dieting too hard and the extreme crash diets to something that's moderate and sustainable. And when I say moderation, typically I recommend about a, let's say, 500 to 1,000 cal deficit. And if you're in this area, it'll allow you to be losing around 1 to 2 pounds of weight loss per week. Obviously, if you weigh, let's say, 250 plus pounds, you can probably get away with a 1,000 calorie deficit, losing weight a little bit faster. If you're a little bit leaner, you probably go ahead with a 500 calorie deficit instead. But the biggest thing there is make sure it's moderation and make sure it's sustainable as well. We don't want to crash diet. Number 2 is never building habits. Biggest thing I see with a lot of people too is they lose the weight, but along the way they never build actual habits about being a lean and fit individual. They just kind of push through it, use willpower and just pushing through the pain rather than building a lifestyle or building habits that are repeatable over time. So biggest thing here, instead of having just like this blind faith in that you'll be able to maintain this crazy high output to lose the weight, building small habits that could be going for a walk in the morning, having protein with every meal, packing protein powder on your family vacations or your trips, getting to the gym 2 or 3 times a week. Little things that can be repeatable that are actually sustainable, and rather than never building actual habits, right? Because you can push through. There's a lot of guys with a lot of willpower out there, but if you rely on willpower and never build actual habits or change your lifestyle, then yeah, whatever weight you use, you're gonna yo-yo and gain it all back. So we need to build those good habits. Number 3, only focusing on the scale. Thinking that if the scale is going down, I am winning, versus making sure the scale is going down at a moderate rate while focusing on other things like our health, our energy, how we feel, how we look, and making an identity shift to a healthy and fit individual, right? Because if all we're thinking about is trying to see the scale go down, then what happens when you actually reach your goal? And the scale no longer needs to go down, but that was the only thing that you tracked and that was what you only thought mattered, right? So rather than just focus on the scale is important. I definitely want you to weigh yourself and do all that kind of stuff. Think about other things that you need to make sure that are in check and on point, right? Is this something that's going to take care of my health for the long term? Is this something that's giving me energy and actually improving my life and performance at home, at work, with my family, with my kids? Is this something where I actually feel better and look better? Or is this something where I just lost weight but now I'm skinny fat, right? And making sure we have an identity shift to go along with it, not that we are just trying to be someone like our old self that lost the weight, but we're taking on this new identity, and just by becoming that new person, we lose the weight as is. Next, this kind of goes along with the scale focus only, like what happens when the scale stops moving, is when you stop at your goal. And this means stopping all the good habits, all the good routines, and everything you've established during the fat loss phase. I have so many people that when they sign up for a program, when they start a diet, they can't wait till it ends so they can go back to the way they were before. And if that's the case, you will gain the weight back, right? This is not something where we're just going to diet for 6 months. And yes, maybe you need to lose weight for 6 months, but health is a lifelong game, right? We want to stay healthy for the long term. Just like marriage, we don't get married to hopefully end our marriage, we get married to stay married. We start a business to stay in business. There is no end date on our health, so there shouldn't be an end date on our diet. And if your diet has a name, typically it has an end date as well. So number one thing is stopping at your goal. If someone decides to do keto or carnivore and they reach their goal and they stop, they always gain the weight back because it was not sustainable. It wasn't something that they could actually stick to within moderation and sustainability. So making sure that we actually keep the intention and structure, you just have more flexibility, right? Because during the fat loss phase, you need to be in a calorie deficit. You need to be watching your calories a bit closer. You need to maybe have some cardio. And when that fat loss phase is over, then what I call the thrive phase for my clients takes hold. And it's not changing everything. It's just more food out of a calorie deficit with a little more flexibility. So the big thing there is we're not stopping at the goal, or let's say body weight goal, not stopping at a body weight goal, because the overarching goal, the big goal, we'll capitalize it, is for life. That's the big thing, because when you think you have a body weight goal and you can just stop doing what you've been doing, that's wrong. We want to make sure that we're shifting things for the rest of our life to stay healthy and of course keep the weight off. Number 5, can't handle real life. Sometimes I'll have people, not my clients, but I've heard, where people will straight up just kind of essentially cut themselves off from the real world while they try to go through this fat loss phase. They won't go on a vacation, they won't eat out, they won't hang out with family, they won't go to social events. They'll completely shut off from everything. And they lose the weight, which is great, but as soon as they start to try to add in vacations or social events, or stress gets them through work, or any sort of life's changes where you have maybe, I have a client who's going from 2 kids to 3 kids, or moving across the country, or starting a new job or career, or relationship stress. As soon as those things come in, aka real life, then we don't know how to handle it. So we need to learn and understand how to handle those different situations. So the biggest thing is when you're losing the weight, to have that as a part, or encourage yourself to still go to those events, still have those vacations, and either work those into your plan or understand that they're not going to be the end of the world if you go out every once in a while or go on a vacation once or twice a year. So the biggest thing there, a lot of people I learn can't handle or understand how to fit their goals along with their social life. And having that understanding and how it all fits in together is key. And that's a major thing we want to think about, so we, once again, stop yo-yoing forever. And lastly, and also as far as the can't handle real life, is some people that try to cut out everything, right? They say, I'm going to go no sugar, I'm going to go no alcohol, I'm going to go carnivore, keto, whatever it is, those crazy diets, no sugar, Whole30, whatever it is. That's not real life, right? You're gonna have sugar again at some point in your life. You're gonna have alcohol again at some point in your life. So make sure that is a part of the weight loss process. You can learn how to handle it and keep the weight off at the end. Lastly, relying on motivation. It's funny because I actually just had someone mention me in the DMs. I was reaching out and saying, hey, like, how are things going? Thanks for the follow, whatever. And he mentioned he's been yo-yo dieting for 20 years. Not 2 or 3, not 4, 20 years of his life. He has gone between 185 and I believe it was like 230 or 240. And right now he said he was like 210, so well off his goal of around 180 to 185. And he's mentioned he's lost the weight, he always gains it back. But this year's gonna be different because he's more motivated, right? That's complete BS. Motivation is not what gets you to the end goal of losing the weight and keeping it off. Motivation is what keeps you stuck in this yo-yo cycle, because you get motivated, you lose some weight, the motivation falls away because you've either achieved your goals, you're focused on the scale only, you cut too hard, or whatever it is, and then the motivation goes away and then the weight comes back on. So I told this individual, I was like, hey, like, stop relying on motivation. You've been doing that for 20 years, and the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing again and again, expecting a different outcome. So I had to give him a little tough love and say, dude, you are insane. Trying to do the same thing again for another year. I said, funny enough, I quoted and said, like, 20th year's the charm. It's not. Hopefully he figures it out. Best of luck to him. But what we need to actually do is build systems, routines, and discipline around our health and fitness goals in order to maintain or sustain the results that we do get. So a big thing that I work with all my clients on is not only getting the results, but focusing on sustainability. Is this something you can see yourself doing for a long period of time aside from the calorie deficit, right? Everything aside, besides being a little bit hungry and having a lower calorie amount to lose the body fat, can you get to the gym 3 days a week? Can you get your 10,000 steps in a day? Can you do some mobility work? Can you get 7+ hours of sleep per night? All those other habits or all those other things that we aim for during our programming should be sustainable. And if it's not, okay, what changes we need to make? How do we overcome those? What kind of structural or schedule changes we need to make? Whatever it is. But the only thing that should not be sustainable is the calorie deficit itself. The quality of food, our protein goals, our steps, our workouts, everything else should be sustainable. But the big thing there is we build systems, routines, and discipline around that. And then when when we're done losing the weight, everything stays the same. We just increase our calories and have a little more flexibility. So the biggest thing there is you cannot rely on motivation. Motivation comes and goes. It's discipline, once again, giving up what we want now for what we want most or what we want in the future. That is the case when you have the kind of aha moment of unlocking your potential and the overall stopping the yo-yo cycle and unlocking your weight loss forever, or losing the weight and then maintaining that weight loss forever. And then you have the fun of building up your physique, maybe increase your calories, go into a lean building phase, but all by your choice. You don't gain weight by accident, you gain weight on purpose, and it's muscle and size and strength and all that good stuff. So stop relying on motivation. It is not motivating to yo-yo back and forth for 20 years, right? That would break anyone's soul, including my own, if that was the case. So start finding systems, build routines, and understand what true discipline is. And self-discipline, you can build it. It's not something we inherently have. You can actually build self-discipline and figure out how to not only lose the weight, but keep it off, because that is the end goal. No one wants to just lose weight. Everyone wants to lose weight and keep it off, but all they think about is losing the weight. They don't think about the identity shift. They don't think about the sustainability. They don't think about the repeatable habits. They don't think about systems and routines. They can think about all I need to do is spend 3 months or an 8-week shred to get the weight off, and they always gain it back. So you need to have a different mindset and different outlook on how to lose weight and keep it off. That is very different than just trying to lose the weight. So have that in mind. That's what I work with all my clients on, is making sure that what we do is sustainable. We lose the weight, we get you out of a calorie deficit, we get you in that thrive phase, and that is the key and how you stop yo-yo dieting forever. So here are 6 tips. Hopefully you guys can start working some of those into your own routine. Currently, if you are trying to lose weight, if you haven't started, once again, check out the cookbook, jackcookbook.com, for the full system. But hopefully these things can be helpful on your weight loss journey to make sure that it's sustainable, and as you lose the weight, you have the end goal in mind of a long, healthy life, not just 4, 5, 6 months of weight loss, but rather 4, 5, 6 months of weight loss, and then decades and decades of staying lean, having a good, healthy approach to your health and fitness, and of course, looking after the identity shift of being a healthier and fit individual. But if you guys do have any questions, let me know. But once again, the goal is for life. It's not just to lose the body weight. It's not just to hit a specific number. Those are temporary goals with the overarching goal to have a better life where you can perform at your best, have the energy you want, and of course, look the part. But if you guys have any questions, like I said, let me know. Leave them down in the comments below. Until next time, we'll have some more whiteboard talks. If you guys have any topics you want me to cover, also let me know down in the comments below. Till next time, stay tuned. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. See you guys next time. Peace.